I foresee a lot of linebackers just curling into the fetal position pre-snap because they're not going to be able to handle the mental gymnastics of this schematic edge.
What a world in college football, and we've seen 1,000 carousels, but what a world this carousel's become.
Oh, this is the carousel to end all carousel.
God, it is, Hayes.
So much so that Florida State's like, I don't know that we can enter into this carousel.
FSU's got to say, listen, we know we got the wrong guy, but we just got to hang on to him because what are we going to do? We're going to get the guy from where are we going to get the guy from Furman?
Yeah,
I don't know who's at Furman, but I'm not disrespecting FSU's opportunity to get good coaches too. Don't I'm joking here, but
it's a crowded field.
It is really crowded. I mean, look. It's weird. I feel a little bit like I felt when they fired Mullen about Brian Kelly. Mullen was 34-15. He had 3 good years, but it was kind of time. It's hard to explain, but I don't know.
He wasn't recruiting. I mean, Florida's roster was getting worse with each passing year.
Correct.
And there was nothing to suggest that he was motivated to turn that around.
And nobody suggested when he got fired they got it wrong. Now, people love firings anyway. But the Brian Kelly was 34-14. Brian Kelly's been the National Coach of the Year 3 times. He's got 300 wins, more than any active coach. He's had 13 double-digit win seasons, 13. His win total at LSU was 10-10-9 before this year. But it felt like the right thing to do. It didn't. I mean, in a weird sort of way, the numbers don't add up till you fire the guy. They don't. But I can't say I certainly wasn't surprised when by the time
particularly getting outscored 35-7 in the second half
in
Death Valley.
And by the time the A&M fans all left Tiger Stadium, which I figured was about 4 a.m. I figured by about. I mean, I don't think they were ever going to leave. I felt like Brian Kelly was going to get fired, and it was probably the right thing.
Yeah, and lost in this, by the way, Texas A&M is really, really good.
They are good.
Florida has played, obviously, a lot of good teams. I was really impressed with Miami. Texas A&M, to me, has been the most impressive team in the SEC that I've seen. Now, that may change.
Me too.
But for right now, they are awesome.
I don't know if I'd tell you they're better than Georgia or Alabama, but your point's dead on. They're really good. They have a really, really good team. Maybe they all do, or maybe they're bad, but I agree with you. So, all right, a lot to talk about today on the program. We'll talk some Jaguars football. Jags go to play the Raiders this week. I got a lot of thoughts about that. I do not think, even before Liam Coen said it today, I do not think they're trading Brian Thomas Jr. I think they want Brian Thomas Jr. to be on their team, and I think they want to kind of try and resurrect. I think the belief in that building is, look, what happened last year wasn't a facade. We got to try and get back to it, and I think that's where whether they're right or not, I think that's where they are. I think where they are is let's get this thing corrected, and let's not run from it because the guys had a tough start, a tough 7-game start to a season or whatever it was. So I think that's where they are there. But I got some thoughts about the Jags-Raiders game and the expectations I have and where I think that thing's going to go, where it has gone. So we'll certainly talk about that on the program today. Amidst all the Napier, Brian Kelly, what happens with Norvell, is Lane Kiffin coming, blah, blah, blah. Have you heard it's Florida-Georgia week?
I have.
I mean, has there ever been?
How is it by the way, 7.5-point line? That makes no sense to me.
That's all it is?
I thought Georgia would be favored at least
12,
by
12 or 13. That's what I would have expected. I didn't know.
And you'd have to give me 14.5 to even think about taking Florida.
Yeah, I would. I'm going to Vegas. I'll be in Vegas with the Jags. Someone said, hey, you're going to Vegas. You're going to bet on the Gators? Now what I'm going to do is when the plane gets up, I'm going to throw my wallet out the window because I got just as much chance of making money. At least that way I get to buy a new wallet.
Yeah. So I'm going to Vegas this weekend just for fun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bet Georgia.
Yeah.
Why not get my trip paid for?
Oh, goodness. So, all right, so a lot to talk about today on the program. We'll certainly cover all kind of fun stuff today as we talk Jags football, Florida, Georgia, talk about the whole coaching carousel, the Brian Kelly thing. We got a lot of stuff certainly to talk about today on the program. I will tell you this. It's Florida, Georgia week, and I want to talk Florida, Georgia. I want to tell Florida, Georgia stories like we do every week. I want to give you my thoughts on the job situation with Lane Kiffin. I want to get to all of that stuff. But I'm going to start with the Jags. We're still Jags first and foremost around here. I'll bet you they play with phenomenal energy on Sunday. This will sound like typical Frank making a typical excuse. That is not my intention. They're 4-3. They did not play very well last week. My guess is they probably shouldn't have gone Monday. They probably were there too long. There were some distractions. They probably shouldn't have gone. They probably shouldn't have gone Monday. And the Rams went much shorter, and they probably learned from that. But when you think of all the emotion of everything leading up to it, and I'm going to go all the way back to Doug Peterson fired. You've heard me say this before. Doug being fired was a story. Trent not being fired was a story. Then Trent being fired was a story. That's 3 stories. Then Liam Coen, was he going to come? He's not going to come. He is going to come. He'd stay there. Tampa's all mad at him as a story. Then he comes. Tony Baselli, the favorite son that we've all wanted hired for the longest time, then gets the job. That was a story. James Gladstone's a story. Here comes, they're very active in free agency. Here comes the draft, and they trade up to number 2. Then the camp was very physical, very busy camp. Then all of it. Then you got off to played a tough schedule to start this thing. I mean, you played Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay in succession. That's 3 pretty good coaches.
Mike McDonald.
And Mike, who's doing a great job.
Doing an unbelievable job in Seattle.
So all this, and then there's the incredible emotion of the Kansas City win. I mean, that was as emotional a regular season win that wasn't at the end of the year that they've ever had. It wasn't more emotional than Morton or some of the things that Morton Anderson missing or some of the things at the end of the year, 3 years ago. But to be an early season win, that's as emotional an early season win as they've ever had.
2018.
Yeah, right.
When they beat New England.
Correct. It was. That's a great call. So.
And that's 7 years ago.
Yeah. And that one you almost kind of expected. This one you still weren't expecting.
Yeah, good point.
But anyway, nonetheless, the emotion of that. So then Seattle didn't play well, got on the plane. Then you're in London for a week. I think this team needed to catch its breath. If you look at all that happened, I'm not making an excuse for them, but we all know they're better than the team that played the Rams. You're generally not as good as your best win and not as bad as your worst loss, right? They won't have a worse loss than that, I don't think. I just think this team needed that week off. They needed time out of the building, which Liam Coen gave them. They need let's just get beyond the Brian Thomas drops and this and Trevor and let's this and penalties. We missed this and the penalties and the kickers missing the kicks and let's just catch our breath. And I think they will. We'll see if they win the game. I think they're going to win the game, but we'll see if they win the game. But I'll bet they have great energy in the game. I'd be very, very surprised if they don't.
I would imagine so. I mean, there's no reason not to have energy. You haven't played your best over the last couple of games, and you're coming off a bye. And so I would imagine that, that energy won't be an issue. I would think, if anything, it's making sure that they're ramped up enough for, to play with intensity and to play with great physicality. And, I was encouraged when Liam was asked today about, how are you going to structure practice this week in terms of making sure that they're ready? And he was like, we're going to be in pads Wednesday, since we didn't play last week. So they'll have a physical practice Wednesday, to help, get them ready. And so it's a challenge, but I would be surprised if they're lethargic in Vegas. I would be really surprised and concerned because their season isn't riding on the game, but their season starts taking a very dark turn if they lose Sunday in Las Vegas. Whereas if they win, now you're 5-3. You've gathered some momentum back. Not that beating the Raiders is any great feat, but at 5-3, you get the momentum back. Now you're still very much in control of your destiny. So it's as close to a must-win as you can probably have for a team that's got a winning record. But I think they'll play well. I'd be surprised if they don't beat the Raiders. Geno Smith has thrown 7 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions this season. So for a defense that has shown they can get turnovers in bunches, I would anticipate the defense finding its confidence Sunday in Las Vegas.
We'll take a break. We'll talk Jags Raiders a little bit coming up. After that, we'll talk Florida football, Florida Georgia, a little bit about FSU as well. The Ryan Kelly stuff, all this going on. I'm going to make a note about the Colts. Tip of the cap to the Colts. Boy, they've played well. Got a lot of things to get to today on the program. We are glad you're with us on a Monday installment. Our Mondays are always brought to you, by the way, by the Best Bet. This week, by the way, the World Poker Tour returns to Best Bet Jacksonville. That's the 30th. That's in 3 days. All the way till November 18th when the WPT comes. That's big news, and it's at Best Bet Jacksonville on Monument. Frangie, Hayes, Carline, Dylan Denmark, by the way, filling in. How you doing there, bro? You all right?
All good.
You
Had a
good?
weekend.
The weekend was
No
the week was
football.
it wasn't a week. It was a week, is what it was. It was a great week. So good to have you in there, Dylan. We appreciate it. More to talk about. Let's talk some Jags football after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
When all the games are in the books, it's time to take a closer look. Post-game Monday, dive into Sunday's matchups and break down the key moments, surprising plays, and everything in between. Prepared by Dandy Foods on 1010XL.
Join 1010XL and Firehouse Subs as we celebrate First Responders Day, Tuesday, October 28th. Catch Jaguars Today live from 10 to noon at Beach and Hodges. Food, fun, and football. Come honor our heroes with Firehouse Subs.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline here to let you know about my new obsession, Daisy French Onion Dip. If you love eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching football, you'll love new Daisy French Onion Dip and Daisy Ranch Dip. These are game changers. They're as delicious as a homemade dip made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. You've got to try them. Once you do, you'll be hooked. Look for Daisy French Onion Dip at a grocery store near you.
Welcome to the bundle event. Entering now our undisputed tag team champions, the mid-size SUV and the mid-century modern. Together with a State Farm agent, this auto and home duo are a powerful force of savings, service, and customizable coverage. Now, let's get ready to bundle.
Call State Farm agent Jason Judy in Jacksonville at 904-416-1732.
Availability and amount of discounts and savings vary by state.
He's one of the greatest Gators in school history.
Who are you? Who's Steve?
Chris Doring brings the heat to the drill with Dan and Jeff. Tuesday mornings at 7:20 on 1010XL. Protected by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
It's the fall savings event going on now at Renewal by Anderson. Upgrading your home has never been easier. Get 20% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires October 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey 1010XL fans, it's game time, but don't get sidelined from the fun. The JTA Game Day Express is the smartest way to get to the bank on time. It's all sponsored by the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens. There are 5 convenient pickup locations across the River City, but remember, Game Day Express is cashless. All passes must be purchased through the MyJTA mobile app. Get your $10 pass today. For all of your game day needs, go to myjtafla.com.
Early detection saves lives. This month, join Ackerman Cancer Center to go light blue and take action with prostate screening and their expert guidance. Book your screening consult and experience the Ackerman Advantage at ackermancancercenter.com.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, you look troubled. Is something bugging you?
This friendship isn't all upside for me, Jason. People keep asking me stuff about you.
They ask you about me?
Is it really cooler with Bueller, they ask. So I say, totally. And they say, how do you mean that? And I say, he fixes air conditioners, which literally makes somebody cool. But he also has cool sunglasses and cool people and a cool family.
And I try to make working at Bueller Air and Plumbing a really cool experience for our technicians and plumbers. We treat our people like gold, and they treat our homeowners the exact same way.
Great. Well, now there's another cool thing I've got to remember. This is a lot of responsibility, Jason.
Life can get hectic sometimes. If you don't take a moment to slow down and appreciate all the cool parts, you could miss it.
Do people ask you about me at all?
Weirdly, they do.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
I want to tell you, satellites continue this week now for the WPT Championship, so get in there. All the WPT details are at bestbetjacks.com. We sure appreciate our friends from the Best Bet. You know those three great locations. Monument Road in Jacksonville. St. Augustine's the newest one, right off of I-95, and, of course, US 17 in Orange Park. Great people. They do a great job. They've been a supporter of this program. I can tell you this for, gosh, as long as I've done radio, and I appreciate my friends Jamie Shelton and Howard Corman, who made it all happen before him, and all the great folks at the Best Bet. It's a really wonderful operation. I'm proud to be a spokesperson for them every Monday, always a Best Bet Monday here on the program. Let's start with the Jaguars. Here's how weird football is, okay? If I had asked you, Hayes, or if I had asked anybody, tell me the 4 players on the Jags before the season started, before camp, before anything. If I give me the 4 players that you are most comfortable will do their job well, whatever their job is.
Taking specialists out of it.
No, not taking specialists out of it. That's kind of where I'm going with this.
Oh, okay.
If I said, tell me the 4 guys that you are most confident would do their job well, Brian Thomas Jr. and Cam Little would have made every list. There's not one citizen in Jacksonville that wouldn't have had them on their list. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. If you follow the team, and now the other 2, I don't know who. It might have been Logan Cook. It might have been Josh Hines Allen. You're right. But if I'd asked you for 4 guys, there's not a person who wouldn't have had Brian Thomas Jr. and Cam Little on their list. Agreed?
Yes.
Nobody would have not had them, and neither one have played well. And so that's if there's nothing else that shows you the unpredictability of football, it's that the 2 guys. In fact, I don't even know who. If you'd asked me to vote, that'd be my first 2 votes. I mean, if you'd asked me to vote in June, that would have been my first 2 guys, good at doing their job well. Now, there's a lot of others I would have had on the list. I don't know where the other 2 would have been, but that probably would have been first and second. Logan Cook might have been on that list for me. He might have been the 3rd guy. Josh Hines Allen might have been the guy, you know. Trayvon would have made a 5. I don't know if he'd have made the top 4. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's Anton Harris. There's good guys. Next year it might be Brenton Strange, but I don't think he'd have made my list this year, right? Yet, they're 2 of the guys that have really struggled. So you can't predict the NFL. It's a hard thing to predict. What I do think is a hallmark of this group is energy, caring. I think what Liam did after the game, hey, this is on me. A bunch of lousy play. It's on all of us, but let me start with me, some lousy play calls. I don't feel any worse about where I think they are emotionally, who I think they are. Now, look, we did this on Rundown today. We tried to get to the number. We hope the number wins is 10 or 11. It might be less than that. They still have to learn each other. But I got more to say about this, but I'm going to start with this. There's some unpredictability. I just went over the 2 guys. But I feel as good about culture, energy, how they will play as I did before they lost the 2 games. I may feel differently about how good their team is, right? But I feel the hallmark of who they are, I feel strongly about that now as I did before the 2 losses.
I agree. I think they have the right coach. I think Shad Khan and Tony Baselli hit it out of the park with Liam Coen. And, you know, I think that the bye week did come at a good time for Liam and his staff to self-scout and look at their tendencies and look at what else is going around the NFL and adjust. And I think you will see some sound adjustments starting in Las Vegas. But yeah, I mean, this is the job that Liam Coen has done. They're 4-3 against a schedule where entering week 8, the opponents were a combined 28-20. And you've gotten very little out of Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. You've gotten very little out of Brian Thomas Jr. You've missed 5 kicks, to your point about Cam Little. Your quarterback isn't completing 59% of his passes. You're 33% on 3rd down offensively. And you've committed 65 penalties for 528 yards to 44 penalties for 394 yards for your opponent. How they are 4-3,
right, with
all of that is a testament to Liam Coen and Anthony Campanile and company.
I completely agree. And so they are still 4. To your point, we'd have all taken the 4-3. Of the things that concern me, they'll be physical. I'm not worried about it. They played 2 good teams, man. They played 4 good teams. Now, the 49ers are slipping a little. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're not slipping, okay? The Seahawks aren't slipping. The Rams aren't slipping. That's three good freaking teams. And San Francisco's pretty damn good, too. And Houston's playing better. I mean, it's been
San Francisco's 5-3,
right,
and they've barely had Brock Purdy all year.
Correct. I mean, it's been a tough schedule. I would be lying if I – there's two things. The passing game's got to find a rhythm at some point. Whether that's Trevor being inaccurate, whether that's the little clunky things, holding the ball too long, taking a sack. And I do think he's human. He threw a few interceptions he shouldn't have thrown, and now a natural reaction is you're a little gun shy to let it fly sometimes. I think some of that's in play. So I think part of it is the Seattle game, he had no chance. He was harassed the whole game. He wasn't harassed as much against the Rams, okay? So whether it's Trevor being more accurate, whether it's figuring out what the rotation – I was wrong. I say I was wrong. It's too early. But I figured by now De'Ami Brown would impact the offense, and he hasn't very much. We all thought Brian Thomas Jr. would play better. So the passing game – the two things for me, Hayes, the passing game has got to find a rhythm, and they've got to do something about these unforced error penalties. They've got to – get out of the huddle faster. Get your wide receiver shifted faster so he's set longer. Trevor, wait a little bit longer before you call for the snap so you know the player's set longer. That's got to stop. Now that's a biggie, man. That one's got to stop. They've got to do a better job of that. There's other areas. One of the problems with the pass rush is, I told you this on Rundown, I don't think they're getting much at the tackle spot. But the two things that they've got to find rhythm in the passing game because it's not there. And they've got to stop making these unforced. If they have a bunch of penalties again, they're going to lose to the Raiders. So they've got to clean that part up. Those are the two areas that concern me the most.
Without a doubt. I mean, the penalties are something that I think they can get under control, and I would anticipate that they do get under control, and I think they'll be able to run the football. And again, once they get their confidence back, I think they'll be a dangerous football team again. But that's why Sunday is so key, because if you lose Sunday – you're now going to Houston, which, is going to be – they have the NFL's best defense. The opener obviously went down to the final play. Hines Allen hit Stroud's arm, and Antonio Johnson gets the pick. So, I mean, I think they are fine. I am encouraged, despite the last two losses. I think that's just the nature of the NFL in some – degree, and the Seahawks were a bad matchup because of how talented their defensive front is, and the Rams were a bad matchup because they have Matthew Stafford,
right?
And
who
the
got
Jaguars
the ball out
have
so
Trevor
quick.
Lawrence, right? I mean, if you gave Matthew Stafford the looks that Trevor Lawrence had in Wembley, I mean, he'd have shredded him. Starting with that first play, where Travis Hunter is wide open and is probably gonna, at a bare minimum, get 15 yards, might have broken it for a touchdown, and instead you take a sack. So, I mean, obviously Trevor's got to be more decisive. He's got to let it rip. They've made that clear. And they've got to do better with the penalties. But the nucleus of what can make them special is all still there. And if they can play with more efficiency, play with more focus, they can be a 10-11 win team, particularly with the schedule that faces them. They've sort of done the heavy lift, and they've done a nice job. They're 4-3. Now in the final 10, go put up a good mark, which they should be able to do, and you've had a spectacular first year.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I'm excited. I'm encouraged and excited about the next game. I can tell you I am definitively excited and encouraged about the Raiders game. I can't wait. Not because the Raiders are a struggling franchise, that's part of it, but because I think the Jags will be a different team when they come back and they've caught their breath. Now, they've got some injuries they still have to deal with. They still will they have Devin Lloyd? Will they have Brenton Strange?
He wouldn't do anything today, so the Jags don't have to release an injury report. But when we were watching them practice, it didn't look like he was doing much of anything.
Yeah, so
but again, that could just be, hey, it's a calf. Let's give you 48 more hours, and then Wednesday we'll see you back out there. So, it's early, but it wasn't like Devin Lloyd was and his usual, you know, back to 100%, doing all of his usual stuff.
Yeah, hopefully Trayvon Walker at some point can get that club off his hand. Brenton Strange at some point can get back out there. Devin Lloyd can get back out there. Those things are all critical. But again, I feel good about how I think they'll play. The other part of it is, we talked a lot about Brian Thomas Jr. I know the reports were all out there. I don't think they're trading him. Liam Coen said that today, and I'm not surprised because I'd heard the same thing. But I am interested in the targets this week. Is it Travis Hunter? Because he finally started catching balls late last week. Was that his coming out party? Brian Thomas Jr. is going to factor some. I promise you that. So, again, you got to throw the ball some. You and I talked about this on Rundown. You didn't run the ball very well. Well, in large part because you're not throwing it so people can stack the box on you. They've almost gotten to a point now you're going to have to throw it some to open up the box. I really believe that. I think that's part of it. I think, people learn about teams. We thought Liam Coen would run the football and because we had heard it, but you don't know till you see it. Well, the first 3 or 4 games, that's what they did. Well, the league saw it too. They have tape. So now they crowd the box. So the answer to that is you got to hit some balls down the field. You hit some balls down the field, they can't crowd the box as much. Well, I think that's where they are now. Now they've got to hit some balls. So we'll see what winds up happening. But I can tell you, I'm excited about the game. I'm excited about where they are. Jags and Raiders, you'll be there.
Yeah, can't wait.
You'll be there. I'll be there as well. Can't wait to watch it as well. Can't wait to call it. Jags, Raiders, good to have the Jags back on the field. Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the Florida coaching job, a little bit about Florida, Georgia. That and more we continue. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month, you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0%. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. So shop online at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership at Park and Cassett. Who's got more new Chevrolets at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Jacksonville is game time, and just like the Jaguars fight for every yard on the field, Duck Duck Rooter fights for every customer at home. From plumbing repairs to septic pump outs to keeping your AC cool all season long, we've got the winning playbook. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and delivers championship service every time. When plumbing, septic, or AC problems put you on defense, don't fumble the call. Dial 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL. Served by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
Hey, First Coast, it's your boy Leon Searcy, your lemon pepper guy. Back and better than ever for Wingstop. You know I can't resist those crispy, flavorful wings that make your taste buds dance. Wingstop just opened a hot new spot on Jeremiah Street in Middleborough. There's 17 locations, now serving up the most mouth-watering wings in town. And my all-time favorite, lemon pepper. Try their new quick and easy ordering on the app and swing by today for fresh, hot wings made for you. Only at Wingstop.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. You know that other Frangie? Well, he's my dad. But I'm here to tell you about how much I appreciate the Awaken 180 weight loss program and how it's changed my life. Like a lot of folks, I let myself go a little. Not proud of that, but it happens. And I wasn't sure what to do. I've tried a lot of other weight loss programs, but they just didn't work. Not like Awaken 180. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. And best of all, really fast results. You eat the food that's provided, and it's really good food. You work with a coach on a regular basis who guides you through the whole process. I'm never hungry. In fact, I never feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Just living a totally normal life. That's my new normal. And now, in October, they're offering free consultations. So there's no reason not to call them and learn more. Call them at 844-346-1800, or you can visit awaken180.com. It really has changed my life, and I bet it'll change yours too. That's Awaken 180.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Dylan Denmark filling in for JJ LaSilva. Glad you're with us on this Best Bet Monday. That WPT event won a $400 no-limit hold'em tournament with $200,000 guarantee. Once again, starts October 30th, goes through November 2nd. So head to one of those 3 great Best Bet locations, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, or Orange Park. All right, so I figured this part out. Right now, certainly around here, but even in the Southeast region, maybe nationally, but certainly in the Southeast region, the biggest story in college football right now is the Lane Kiffin to Florida or not Florida. That's even bigger than the job opening is what Kiffin does. That is
even bigger than who's number one in the country.
I mean, it's a gigantic story. Is what Kiffin does or doesn't do. That it's amazing, so much so that whatever the 2 schools that does not get him is going to be devastated. Whether it's Ole Miss that doesn't get to keep him, or Florida that doesn't get to poach him, or whatever, is going to be very disappointed. I don't think LSU will be in play with Lane Kiffin. I might be wrong, but I don't think that's no knock on LSU. That's no knock on what LSU is or who they are. Or I don't think LSU. I don't sense that LSU is in play with Kiffin. That's my opinion. Because for 2 things, the main thing that will hurt LSU is his absolute, genuine, and loyal love for Ole Miss. That dude loves Ole Miss. He cares about Ole Miss. He's found his home there. His family is there. They would build him a statue there. I think that love of Ole Miss, and because he doesn't have anything similar with LSU, will keep LSU out of play. That's my opinion. I don't know that. That's my opinion. The only thing that could trump that is he's always been enamored with the Florida job. He's made it clear the last few weeks how much he idolized Spurrier, which is why he wears the visor and makes little quips against other people. It's why he built his offense the way he did. I think his being enamored with Spurrier, the fact that Layla, the mother of his children with whom he's become close again, I don't know if they're together, like, I don't know if they're a couple
again. It seems
again.
like it, though.
Yeah, but they're certainly, whether they're together or not, they're raising their family together. And Layla's a Florida grad. Her dad was a legendary quarterback at Florida. Lane knows that. Lane was around all that. So the only thing, in my opinion, that could trump his absolute love for Ole Miss was how enamored he's always been with Florida. And I don't sense, at least from what I've read and heard, there's any connection between he and LSU, other than it's a phenomenally good job. LSU's a great, great job. But it's not a better job than Florida. They're both great jobs. You could argue all you want. Well, LSU's better, Florida's better. The truth is, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida, Texas, there's a bunch of them in there that are great jobs. You can split hairs of which is better, but they're all great jobs.
Yeah, you don't leave Florida for LSU, and you don't leave LSU for Florida.
That's correct.
So the beauty there is in the eye of the beholder.
That's correct. So they're both great jobs. So in my opinion, Lane Kiffin is enamored with Florida in a way he isn't anybody else, and he has a love affair for Ole Miss like he doesn't anyone else. And money won't decide this. Now, the only way money can decide it, he's making 10.5. Could he get to he's probably going to get to 13 here. I think the conventional thinking is 12 or 13 million. If Jimmy Sexton goes crazy and says, I want 15, and one of those two schools says yes and the other doesn't, well, then money could factor. But I don't think so. I think Lane was telling the truth when he said recently, money's not going to affect this. I agree with him. I believe him. It's going to – so agree or disagree. I don't sense LSU's in play. And again, LSU's a wonderful job. But I think his love affair for Ole Miss, which is genuine and real and kind of cool, by the way, and how incredibly enamored he is with Florida and the Spurrier thing and the fact that Layla's dad played there, which is also really cool. I think one of those two will decide. And my guess is Florida's going to offer him the job. My guess is Ole Miss is going to do everything they can to keep him to stay. I do think he will be the Florida choice. That's my opinion. And I think he will have both will be his jobs to leave or turn down. And I don't think LSU's factored in. That's my opinion.
I think LSU is a real threat. It just depends on what does Lane Kiffin want in his what probably he views as his final stop as a coach. I think if it's all about winning, then maybe LSU is the better choice because you just have no in-state resistance at all. So LSU dominates that state, which is fertile. It's not as fertile as Florida, but it's a very fertile recruiting state. And Louisiana Tech and the schools in Louisiana are no threat to you. At Florida, obviously, you're recruiting against Florida State, Miami, and certainly Alabama, Clemson, Georgia have done great, jobs of building pipelines in the state of Florida. So there's way more resistance recruiting Florida when you're the coach of the Gators than there is recruiting at LSU when you're the coach of the Tigers. So I think from that standpoint, it's easier to build like a super roster at LSU than necessarily it is at Florida, but it can be done at Florida. And Lane Kiffin knows that. So to me, I don't think he's staying at Ole Miss. That's sort of where I am with it. Like if I was ranking what he's going to do, I would still put Florida 1. Because the other thing, too, is we're now 48 hours into this LSU opening, and it doesn't seem like the tea leaves are pointing to Lane Kiffin. And so, that's helpful. The other reason that I don't think he's staying at Ole Miss, he could have done a Kirk Cignetti. That extension could have been done 10 days ago when all this started, when Billy Napier got fired, and obviously people were going to start linking Lane Kiffin to the Florida job. Well, if you're committed to staying at Ole Miss, you're signing an extension. I mean, Kirk Cignetti did not want Indiana being distracted at all with the Penn State opening. Penn State fires James Franklin. 4 days later, Kirk Cignetti has signed a massive extension to stay with the Hoosiers. Well, why has that extension not happened with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss? Certainly Ole Miss wants it to happen. So what that tells you is Lane Kiffin has told them politely, look, I'm not really going to discuss anything about this until we get to the end of the season, which is a nice way of saying I'm probably not staying here.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens. If it's not Kiffin for Florida, then I'm very interested because I think there's a lot of guys who could be in play. I think Eli Drinkwitz could be in play. I think Dillingham could be in play. I think Jed Fish could be in play. I think I'm drawing a complete blank.
Willie Taggart?
The SMU guy.
Oh, Rhett Lashley.
Rhett Lashley. I drew a complete blank. And, of course, Willie Taggart.
You got to interview Taggart.
That made me chuckle. You know what? It made me chuckle halfway through a Monday show's good. I think Rhett Lashley could be in play. My guy would be Jeff Brom if it's not Lane Kiffin. That would be my guy. It'd be Jeff Brom. But my concern with Brom is he's a Louisville guy, man. Jeff is from Louisville. His dad played at Louisville. He played at Louisville. His brother Brian played at Louisville. His brother Jeff played at Louisville. Do you know who his offensive coordinator is? His brother Brian Brom. Do you know who his general manager and ops guy is? It's his brother Greg Brom. They're all from there. They're all on the staff. They all played there. His dad Oscar played there. I think he doesn't leave Louisville no matter who calls.
Wow.
Now, that's my opinion. I don't think he leaves. Now, he makes $5.9 million. My guess is Louisville could get to 7 or 8 to keep him. 9 if they really pooled their funds. they can't touch the 13 that Ole Miss or Florida are going to pay.
Is Louisville still like a basketball school?
Yeah,
Because I
it
view
is.
them more of a.
Yeah, it
that
is.
would be one thing
It
that I'd
is.
be interested
Yeah,
in with Brom is
and
like
it's-
you get this $20.5 million in revenue.
Right.
Well, if the Louisville basketball coach is going to take $12 million of
Correct.
that, leaving football with $6 million.
That's a factor.
Well, if you're Jeff Brom, you got to ask yourself, am I going to be able to win here?
Yeah.
Because the other schools and most of the schools in the ACC are devoting way more money towards football.
And that's right, and it could be a factor. But also, he makes 5.9, and I don't think they're going north of 7 or 8. I mean, Billy Napier's making 7. I don't think all of a sudden Louisville's going to find $12 million to pay, and I think Florida would pay him $12 million, 13, and I think LSU would too. So, but my opinion is he's not leaving Louisville. That's my opinion. If ever he was going to, this is the year, because every job's open. Every job in America is open. So if ever you were going to leave for Penn State, LSU, Florida, wherever, this would be the year. We'll see what happens. There's going to be a fascinating carousel, no question about it. Let's take a break. Headlines are next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL puts the ball in play-by-play.
Kick on the way!
Impeccable today.
From way downtown.
That ball's ripped.
For play-by-play, it's 1010XL.
Hey, folks, it's Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass. And I think you deserve a spa-like shower, don't you? Get rid of that dirty, dated setup you have in your bathroom. Those old-style showers can be really ugly. Install a gorgeous frameless shower with thick, sexy glass and a free diamond coating protection that's easier to clean, like Rain-X for your shower. Your bathroom will feel like a luxury spa every morning and night. You deserve it. Visit my friends at leeandkatesglass.com.
You're gonna see a big difference.
It's hard to tame a hurricane.
Let's not get hysterical here, okay? Calm down.
Find out what you need to know about the Canes on the Performance Painting Hurricane Report.
Your source for weekly Canes news and nuggets
on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, are you ready? The college basketball season is tipping off soon with an epic in-state showdown. The defending national champion Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes go head-to-head in the Jacksonville Hoop Showdown. Be there Sunday, November 16th at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena and witness this in-state rivalry live. Secure your seats now at Ticketmaster.com. It's Florida versus Miami right here at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, November 16th. Ticketmaster.com.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner. With honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Basketball season is here, and you know what that means. Now you can mix and match football and basketball and win big with Prize Picks, where being right can get you paid on America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. All you do is pick more or less on 2-player stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. Patrick Mahomes, more or less than 243 passing yards. Steph Curry, more or less than 26 points. It's just that simple, everybody. But here's the best part. Prize Picks offers an injury insurance reboot. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, where you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup, and with Flex Play, you can double your money even if one of your players doesn't hit. And all Prize Picks withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today, use promo code 1010XL, and get $50 in lineups instantly when you play $5 in lineups. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Coen Flowers announces their home holiday decorating team is now taking orders for the holiday season. This is Max with 1010XL. No more hassling with tree buying, untangling, and hanging burned out lights. Call Coen Flowers. They'll do it all.
This is Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. I'm honored to join Operation New Uniform as the guest speaker for their 70th graduation. This milestone event is more than a ceremony. It's a testament to faith, perseverance, and purpose. Operation New Uniform helps service members and veterans find purpose, confidence, and success after service. Join us as we honor these remarkable graduates and the mission that empowers heroes to find their next calling. Register today at onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. Dylan Denmark helping us out today. I'm Hayes Carline. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with the Jaguars-Raiders game upcoming on Sunday. Big storyline over the weekend was the status of Brian Thomas Jr. Liam Coen met with reporters earlier today and made it clear Brian Thomas wasn't even really asked about it, just asked about how do you get Brian Thomas Jr. going. And in the span of answering that said, and oh, by the way, we're not trading him.
I'm not surprised at all. Everything I've been able to gain is they're not trading him. Sometimes stuff gets out there. They're going to try and find out whether or not he's the right guy. The common belief is last year wasn't a fluke. It didn't just happen. You don't just all of a sudden you're third in the league in receiving yards as a fluke. Now something's changed and something's going wrong and they got to get it fixed. But I think that's the commitment, is to try and get it fixed.
We talked about the defensive tackles and the Jaguars needing more out of that room. Liam Coen really was great in his answer today about trying to get some production going from the defensive tackles, and here is that clip.
Thought we need it. We need to, we've looked at, okay, how do we help them on early downs, create more of an edge and get some favorable matchups. We've looked at in the known passing situations, where are we putting these guys and how can we continue, or how can we put them in better positions to be successful and get more ops on the quarterback. And also those guys have got to continue to do it on their own as well, right? If you're going to rush with some four, well, we got to go win. And so we're going to make an emphasis of it and continue to coach the heck out of it. But we did do a little bit of think tanking as a staff over the week on how we can do that and creating our angles and matchups, and also being able to, in base defense, how are we moving some of these pieces around in order to give us favorable matchups on who we think we can win on versus the O-line.
They're really trying with the defensive tackle spot. I just think that's a spot that will be position 1, 2, and 3 of player procurement in the offseason, if not before the deadline. That's an area where they've just got to get more good players. And that's no knock on the guys that are playing there. They're trying. But that's an area they weren't able to – they tried, but they weren't able to address it in free agency or the draft. That's the area. If there's one area where they've got to go get better, that's an important area in the league, Hayes, and that's an area where they got to get better.
I love a good think tank, so that's exciting.
Think tanks matter.
Yeah,
you get a good think tank on a Monday?
There was a think tank.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic stuff. Let's get to the AFC South. The Colts pound the Titans 38-14, and the Texans get a massive win over the 49ers 26-15 to move to 3-4. So Houston trying to get back in this thing, and the Colts continue to be super impressive, 7-1, and the number 1 seed right now in the AFC.
I think the Colts are legit. And listen, I understand the point you've made is a very legitimate one. They caught a break with their schedule early on. They played the Dolphins. They've played the Titans. They've played the Raiders. They've played the Cardinals. They just played the Titans again. They've had both games against the Titans. I get it. That's an easy schedule by NFL standards. But, Hayes, they are scoring, brother. I don't care who you're playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. 6 of their 8 games, 6 of them, they've scored 30 points or more. In a 7th game, they scored 29. So they're really scoring. Jonathan Taylor's playing at a really high level. Daniel Jones has found his team. We see how many quarterbacks do you see? It's not the first team. It's the second, third, or fourth team. And I think they're legit. I didn't buy it early on because of that Denver game. They probably should have lost, the point you've made. And they didn't deserve to win that game. They had a weird penalty at the end of the game. But they deserve the other ones. They're the Colts are legit. Whether we like it or not, it's legit.
Absolutely. It'd be very interesting to see how they fare going to Pittsburgh, a struggling Steelers team, on Sunday. That'll certainly be a game I'm sure that will be in the picks when we get to Friday. Let's get it to around the NFL. Former Jets standout center Nick Mangold died at 41 from kidney disease over the weekend. Just a terrible story. The former first-round pick was named to 7 Pro Bowls and was a 2-time first-team All-Pro selection, 41 years old.
Yeah, really sad. And if you saw Rex Ryan, and I think most of us did, that emotion was real and raw, and the sorrow was real. And yeah, Nick Mangold gone way too really good player, and by all accounts, and I didn't know this, so we've read about him a lot in the last day or so. Really good leader, and I saw Rex Ryan how hard it hit him. That was real.
Absolutely. The Raiders have signed Tyler Lockett, so as we look to what the Jaguars' opponent Sunday may be doing coming out of their bye week, Las Vegas signs the 33-year-old Lockett. He only had 10 catches this season prior to asking for his release from Tennessee, so we'll see, but he has a relationship with Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
So something to kind of keep an eye on. I don't think Tyler Lockett is going to have a big impact on Sunday, but it bears mentioning.
Yeah, the Raiders aren't very good. You know, it hasn't been the unmitigated disaster. An old guy coming back that the North Carolina has been in the college realm, but they're not very good. I mean, they're 2-5. One of their wins is against the Titans. The other win was early against the Patriots before people figured out that the Patriots were pretty good, and that was by a touchdown. You're 2-5, and you've lost 5 of your last 6, and the win was a home game against the Titans. I don't think the Raiders are very good. I really don't.
Let's get into some injuries. Giants rookie star running back Cam Scatabo suffers a season-ending ankle injury in a loss to the Eagles. He had run for 410 yards with 7 total touchdowns. Just a devastating injury again for the New York Giants.
And he's a fun story. He's one of the young. You know, we get a young player every year. That's a really, really cool story. Jaden Daniels came out of nowhere. Not nowhere. He won the Heisman Trophy. But, I mean, Jaden Daniels emerged as this really, really fun story. Cam Scatterbo's the latest guy. That was a really, really fun story. It's a shame for the Giants, and it's a shame for the league. It really is.
Let's get to Major League Baseball. The World Series resumes tonight with Game 3 in Los Angeles as the Dodgers and Blue Jays are tied at 1. Toronto will start Max Scherzer, while L.A. goes with Tyler Glasnow.
How about that game? One of the great hard-throwing pitchers from years gone by versus one of the really good hard-throwing pitchers right now. If you love baseball, man, that's a good night. I mean, 1-1, series is even. Glasnow versus Scherzer, today versus yesterday. That's a fun one, man. It really is. That is a fun one. I picked the Dodgers in 5. Well, that's not going to happen unless they win the rest of them. So it's going to be a fun series.
Absolutely. We will get you out on the musical note of the day. Thank you to Frank Frangie for this one. 41 years ago this week, Don Henley releases Boys of Summer. This was the lead single to Henley's second solo album, Building the Perfect Beast. The song peaked at number 5 on the Billboard chart. I was shocked it wasn't number 1. It was on all the time in 1984. The video became a classic, winning Best Video of the Year honors at the 1985 MTV Video Music Awards. The Eagles have embraced the song. It's been a staple in the band's set since they reunited. A great rock song.
I mean, it really is a great song. 41 years.
Unbelievable.
When I sent you that, I said,
It's a typo.
It's a typo, and I'm too old to text. If this song's 41 years old, I'm too old to send it. But one of the great, great songs of that era. Well done as always. We'll take a break. More to come after this. Stay with us.
Win or lose, nothing's off limits for us.
Picking a Prosser on the live Swamp Sessions podcast right after every Gator football game.
We'll bring out insight, analysis, and Gator passion.
Live stream from Voodoo Brewing Company.
On the 1010XL social channels.
Driven by Atlantic Infinity.
Frank Frangie here from my bank, South State Bank. South State has been committed to delivering world-class customer service that businesses like yours and mine can count on. From personalized support to cutting-edge banking solutions, South State Bank has blended the trusted traditions we all value with the innovation you need for tomorrow. Whether you're managing cash flow or investing in growth, South State Bank is here to help you move forward. Visit southstatebank.com or visit your local branch today. That's South State, member FDIC.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season is finally here, and with that, hopefully comes cooler weather. And if you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space and just haven't pulled the trigger, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures right now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business. Give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get the best soccer talk on the First Coast on the Coaches Show, presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor discuss the beautiful game Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Start your week off with today's restaurant of the day, Flame Broiler. Try their new chicken avocado salad bowl at $10.99. Fuel your day with Flame Broiler's protein-packed bowls served at 5 locations, including the newest at 103rd Street.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too.
Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
Pickett here. Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139, plus a free haul, and take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and take advantage of these huge savings.
Hey gang, Prosser here. When it comes time to sell your home, don't worry about any, quote, problems you think might be related, because I've got the perfect team that will keep you right on track. In fact, they've got a guarantee that you can't beat. And that is Chad and Sandy, the agents I would call to sell my home. You see why? Your home sold guaranteed, or they will buy it. Need to sell now? Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, and stress-free. But the promise is this. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jacksonville homes are selling, but many take months and a low price to sell. Getting top price means aggressive marketing. Chad and Sandy Newman are the Jacksonville experts who have proven systems to drive demand to sell your home. Darcy in San Jose said, I felt too isolated in my retirement. I wanted to buy in a different area, better suited for me. I spoke to several agents who didn't seem to care. I needed to find someone I could rely on in come Chad and Sandy, and in 3 days, the home was sold. Call the Jacksonville experts we trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy today.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Good Brothers Roofs and Gutters. After an opening night victory, the Magic lost 2 straight over the weekend to the Hawks and the Bulls. They'll look to get back to 500 as they head up to Philly to take on the 76ers in the city of brotherly love tonight at 7 p.m. Game 3 of the World Series between the Blue Jays and Dodgers will begin at 8 o'clock tonight. It's 79 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
We sure appreciate our friends from the Best Bet. 3 great locations. Head to the Best Bet St. Augustine, the Best Bet Jacksonville on Monument Road, And, of course, Best Bet Orange Park on 17. Well, so I'm on vacation. Played a bunch of golf, hung out. Went to a wedding, went to a dinner a bunch of times. But we did go to see Springsteen.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you.
So we went to see it. You want my review?
Absolutely.
It was good. It was not great. Here's the thing. And part of it is if you're a big Springsteen fan, right? So what made Bohemian Rhapsody so great, I mean, Rami Malek was great in it, but I mean, he was phenomenal. But it told the whole story, from the humble beginnings to who Freddie Mercury was to all the stardom to the end. What made Rocket Man so great is it told the whole Elton John story, right? So these biopics, they take you through the whole journey, which makes it, and the replicated concert footage is magnificent because these actors learn how to sing like those guys, and it makes it great. This was a story, and you had told me about it before. You told me it was coming before I even knew it, like months and months ago, maybe a year ago. You said, "Are you excited about it?" I don't know if you remember this. Mm-hmm. We were in the other building. You said, "Are you excited about it?" I said, "Well, sort of. I'm not a big fan of the album Nebraska." Well, if there had been a 5-part Netflix series on the life of a docudrama on the life of Bruce Springsteen, this would have been a great third episode. The beginning of the Springsteen story was the humble beginnings in forming a band, blah, blah, blah. The second part was the first superstardom when he was on the cover of Time and Newsweek, and it was Born to Run and Rosalita and Jungle Land and Thunder Road. That's when the superstardom came. Then the third episode would be, well, but then he had to find himself. He became a star too fast. He went through some depression. He wanted to find out what music really was. So he wrote Nebraska. So there weren't a lot. He didn't want any singles released. Didn't want any hits. Didn't want any PR for it. It was just a subtle him connecting with himself, looking back at his father was hard on him. It was a great episode. Okay, that was episode 3. Episode 4 then would have been the launching of the Springsteen you first recognized: Born in the USA, Glory Days, Dancing in the Dark, The Video Age, all that, the global superstardom. And then episode 5 would be the old Springsteen with The Rising and whatnot. It'd have been a great Netflix series. Well, all we saw was episode 3. So it was really good. Jeremy Allen White was fantastic as an actor in it. He's really good. And so the acting was great and the story was great, and it was intense because it was about, and he went through some mental health issues that he talks about after the movie and talk shows and whatnot. But it didn't tell the story. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It didn't tell the story. The story, I mean, again, they never said it was going to tell the story, but the trailers were a little deceiving because if you saw the trailer has him singing "Born to Run" in concert. It also has him singing "Born in the USA" in the
that's the
studio
one that
session.
I thought was odd because in the premise of the movie he hasn't recorded that yet.
Correct. Well, and what happens is in the movie, I didn't know this, but "Born in the USA" and "Cover Me" and "I'm on Fire" and "Darlington County," great songs on that "Born in the USA" album, were originally going to be on the Nebraska album.
Oh.
They didn't make the cut.
Oh.
But it showed them all. And then it said right at the end, oh, by the way, these songs made this other album. Well, it was deceiving a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was, if it told the whole story of Bruce Springsteen, the real whole story of Bruce Springsteen, I mean, can you tell the story of Bruce Springsteen without Courtney Cox coming up on stage? You really can't, right? I mean, that's your first, someone your age?
Oh, yeah.
That's your first
memory.
The first one. So anyway, it was a good movie. I liked it. It was really well done, but it was chapter 3, or it was episode 3, and what would be a 5 episode, if that makes sense. So anyway, so I hope I didn't ruin it for everybody. Great movie, well done, but it didn't tell the story. It told a part of the story. Bucky Brooks is going to join me in a little bit to get back to some Jaguar football. Before we do, what happens now, Hayes, in your mind? What happens at Penn State? What happens at LSU? We talk about the Florida situation. Does FSU fire Mike Norvell at the end? What happens at Auburn? They got to fire him, right? Kentucky's got to fire Mark Stoops. I think 5 SEC jobs are going to be open. Florida, LSU, Arkansas already are. Kentucky and Auburn have to be open. I mean, Kentucky's worse than they were. Now, he's had some good runs.
I mean, they may not win a game in conference, although they do play Florida.
Yeah, but they're
they
really
could
bad.
Go winless.
So 5 open jobs. So there's not enough people to fill those jobs. I think that's the concern, isn't it? I mean, who gets these jobs now? I think the next tier, I think the Ryan Silverfields and the Alex Golishes that are from Group of 5 schools, they're the ones who benefit from this, because one of those guys is going to wind up at Auburn, and one of them might wind up at Florida State, And so where do you think all this heads?
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what like a school like Florida State does. I think Auburn and Kentucky are too far gone. I think they're ready. They have the money. They're ready to fire their guys and move on. Florida State seems in a unbelievable predicament because their guy probably should already be fired. He has the fan base has no confidence in Mike Norvell. Obviously, the administration has very little confidence in him. Mike Alford releases a statement that doesn't really even support Norvell. It doesn't even mention the name Mike Norvell until like 4 words from the statement being over. People were comparing it to Scott Strickland's vote of confidence for Billy Napier last year. Well, that vote of confidence last year from Scott Strickland was Billy Napier is the right guy. I mean, it was very clear. It was a support of Billy Napier. Now, obviously, it didn't work out for Florida. But Florida State's the one that I think is really interesting in this because it feels like you kind of have to fire him, but it's very costly. Can they take the hit? And then where do they stand if you enter into the last thing Florida State wants? And it is a program that has a bit of an insecurity complex, particularly with Florida. Do they want to enter into a coaching derby if they think Florida might get Lane Kiffin, the belle of the ball, and Florida State might have to settle for Plan G?
Yeah.
Because while the logo is fantastic and the tradition is amazing at Florida State and the fans are incredible, financially, you don't really know what they are able to do right now in terms of staffing and all that stuff. So I think there's a lot of layers to it. I think James Franklin's a big loser with LSU firing Brian Kelly because he was clearly the best retread, and now you've got competition there. So I think it makes it complicated there. I think the coaching pool is deep. I think that I think these schools will be okay, but we've certainly never seen anything like it. LSU's interesting because I'm with you. I don't necessarily think that I don't get Lane Kiffin vibes at LSU, and to kind of hear it from their end, it almost feels like they may want to go with more of a up and coming coach, which I'm not sure I totally buy. But like I never thought Dan Lanning would leave Oregon for Florida. I could see Dan Lanning leaving Oregon for LSU. So, that will be very interesting as well. So then does Oregon open? And again, if Lane Kiffin leaves, Ole Miss is now open. So, I mean, this thing is going to be, it's going to make December just so much fun to see how all this aligns. But what I think is really interesting now are the schools that are weighing the decision. And a school like Florida State that really feels like they're 80-20 wanting to fire Norvell. It's just the 20 is the economic impact of doing that and entering into the realm of Florida State doesn't want to be in a coaching search where they're like the 5th or 6th best job. And that may be where they fall in this. And so that's where I think it's interesting. If you're on the fence, do you hold on to your guy for another year knowing you may be dealing with kind of an empty stadium next year, not a lot of fan support, not a lot of excitement, but maybe be better off in the 26 Derby? It's a really tough spot for Florida State right now. I think they'd be better off firing Norvell, getting it over with, and moving on in 26. But they're the school right now that I think is under the most strain in terms of what's the best course of action to take.
We'll take a break. When we come back to the NFL, Bucky Brooks joins me to talk Jaguars football. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Denny Thompson stars as the quarterback whisperer.
Everyone agrees that playing quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill. Tuned up by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
Hayes Carline here to let you know about my new tailgate obsession, Daisy French Onion Dip. If you love eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching football, you'll love the new Daisy French Onion Dip and Daisy Ranch Dip. These are game changers, as delicious as a homemade dip made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. You've got to try them. Once you do, you'll be hooked. Look for Daisy French Onion Dip at your grocery store.
Jacksonville Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating's my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Welcome to the bundle event. Entering now our undisputed tag team champions, the mid-size SUV and the mid-century modern. Together with a State Farm agent, this auto and home duo are a powerful force of savings, service, and customizable coverage. Now, let's get ready to bundle.
Call State Farm agent Kathy Scott in Jacksonville at 904-730-3665.
Availability and amount of discounts and savings vary by state.
He used to cover the Jags. Now he's a CBS Sports senior NFL writer.
Well, I believe he's got everybody's attention.
He's Pete Prisco. Friday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Anytime you've got major plumbing problems, and even the minor ones, there's several potential causes, and they usually can't be easily detected. So don't guess at a solution. Hire Roland Reese Plumbing at PlumbingJacksonville.com.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com, the farm at Okefenokee.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. You know that other Frangie? Well, he's my dad. But I'm here to tell you about how much I appreciate the Awaken 180 weight loss program and how it's changed my life. Like a lot of folks, I let myself go a little. Not proud of that, but it happens. And I wasn't sure what to do. I've tried a lot of other weight loss programs, but they just didn't work. Not like Awaken 180. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. And best of all, really fast results. You eat the food that's provided, and it's really good food. You work with a coach on a regular basis who guides you through the whole process. I'm never hungry. In fact, I never feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Just living a totally normal life. That's my new normal. And now, in October, they're offering free consultations. So there's no reason not to call them and learn more. Call them at 844-346-1800, or you can visit awaken180.com. It really has changed my life, and I bet it'll change yours too. That's Awaken 180.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
The buck stops here. Time now for Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Coen & Sons, Jacksonville's commercial fence specialist, on The Frangie Show.
All right, we certainly thank our friends from Coen & Sons. They're about to do more work now at the Bragan Baseball Complex that we have built, and we love it. Whether it's residential fencing, whether it's commercial fencing, nobody does a better job. 904-356-4821, or you can call them at coiljacks.com. Bucky, I enjoyed my week off, bro. Did you have a good week off? You have too many jobs. You were probably working, right? You worked the whole time on it, didn't you?
Frank, no. I was getting the resume up. There are a lot of jobs in the SEC, They're paying $15 million a year. I mean,
You're the guy. You're the guy.
Florida, LSU, Ole Miss may open up. I mean, I'm just trying to get ready. Arkansas. I mean, there's so many jobs jobs available.
Oh, you're the guy. You're exactly right. Run that resume out. I hear you. All right.
Oh my God.
Oh goodness, you are right. All right, let's look back for a second. We weren't here last week. We were both traveling. So, assess the London game. It was the worst performance of the year by the Jags. Those happen. We all know that. Did the team look like it? You're on the sideline. You're in the locker room. They didn't seem to have their normal energy. Did it feel that way to you watching the game and being with them on the field?
Yeah, we weren't. We were out of pocket. We weren't what we've normally been. The one thing that I can always say is we've always had energy. The effort was always there. It may not be perfect, but you could tell we were playing hard. We didn't play hard. We were very emotional. Coaches, players, everybody. I would just say we're out of sorts. And sometimes you have a game like that, a 17-game schedule. You just have one that's a throwaway. And I would just say that is a throwaway game. When I was in college, coach said sometimes you just got to bury the ball and move on. That's one where you bury the ball, you move on and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, and I think that. And listen, it was a 7-game stretch. There was a lot of them. They put. By the way, I felt like I'm making excuses. I'm not intending to. Boy, they played some good teams. I mean, you played Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay in a row. You know, they drew some good teams. The Kansas City game was emotional, like really emotional. 5 days later, you're playing Seattle. Sometimes you're out of gas, right? I mean, you're human, but you're still human beings playing 17 times. Sometimes you're normally going to be out of gas a little bit, right? I'm not trying to make excuses, but you've played the game forever. Don't you see that, you think?
Yeah, no, look, man, sometimes you just have those moments, because you don't have a bunch of robots, and human nature can take over and impact how you perform. Now, normally we've always handled the London game really well because we go over there, we acclimate, we perform, and it tends to be an advantage for us. For whatever reason, we didn't take advantage of that part of it, and we laid an egg, and I think sometimes you just have to acknowledge that. But if you look around the landscape of the National Football League, that's common. You see teams lose games where they just don't play well, and they somehow find a way to bounce back. Hopefully, with the bye week, with 2 weeks of practice, you're able to reset, refocus, recharge, and then get back to playing the ball that we saw this team play early in the year.
Let's get some specifics. Let's start with the passing game. I think that they got to find a rhythm in the passing game. My belief, Bucky, is one of the reasons they didn't run the ball as well the last few weeks is the book is out on them. They're a running team, so teams have stacked the box a bit. I think that's what's happened. How did the Jags refine that rhythm in the downfield passing game, or find that rhythm in the downfield passing game that we haven't seen yet?
Well, they have to connect on those opportunities, and they haven't done it frequently enough to make people back off the running game. And that's between Trevor Lawrence, the wide receivers, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Parker Washington, Brent Strange when he gets back. All of those guys have to get open when they have those opportunities, and they got to cash the lottery tickets in when they get those chances. We haven't done that enough. The other part about the passing game is the protection the last couple of weeks has been leaky. Yeah. Early in the year, we were praising the offensive line because they've done a really good job of keeping Trevor Lawrence clean in the pocket, putting him in a cocoon so he could throw it down the field. We played better defensive line, and that has impacted the way that Trevor feels in the pocket. He's getting hit too much, and when you get hit a lot, it impacts your accuracy. The accuracy goes down the more times you get hit.
There's a common narrative out there now that the Jags should let Trevor run more. Now, you never want an NFL quarterback running very much because obviously you're susceptible to injury. But is that a thing, Bucky? Would you rather see some RPO? Would you rather see some nakeds where he runs the ball, even if he knows to protect himself at the end there? Is that a thing they should do more?
Within reason. I wouldn't say that he needs to be Lamar Jackson.
Right.
I would say Trevor needs to be smart when he decides to run. If anything, Trevor should run in what I call scramble situations, pocket breaks down and run. But I don't think he should be running quarterback power, a lot of read option stuff, and those things. If it comes as part of the natural progression of the play, great. But I don't think you want to make him something that he's not, which is a running back playing quarterback. That's not really his game.
Let's get to the other side of the ball, Bucky. Obviously, they've had trouble generating much of a pass rush. If there's one concern with the defense, Anthony Campanile's done a nice job in drawing up some blitzes and some rushes that have affected the quarterback, but they haven't been a great pass rushing team. Josh Hines Allen can't get going. What's the problem there? Why haven't they rushed the passer better in your mind?
When the ball's coming out quicker, and when Trayvon Walker got hurt a couple weeks ago, that certainly impacted that. Early in the year, you had like a three-headed monster that was creating pressure on the passer. It was the two ends, Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, and then Eric Armstead was playing really well on the inside. That has changed because Walker's been hurt. Armstead hasn't been able to impact the game as much, and so now you're depending on a one-man show on the edges. The other part, Jacksonville was dominating on early down, so they could force people into long yardage situations where you didn't have to think about a run. You could go hunt the quarterback. When teams have been able to run the ball a little better, it puts them in mix downs. And so now the defense coordinator, Anthony Campanelli, has to play it straight. He's not able to necessarily dictate the terms, and that's all impacted the way they've been able to get to the quarterback.
That's a great point. It's you can get to, if the other guy's got 3rd and 11, it's easier to get to him than when he's got 3rd and 2. And there's been way too many 3rd and 2s lately, and there were 3rd and 11s earlier in the season. Great point. I think the Jags will have good energy this week. I think the 4 or 5 days off is good. I think Liam connects with these guys. Do you agree with me? I don't know if they're going to win or not. I think they are because I don't think the Raiders are very good. But more importantly, I think they're going to have great energy in this game. I think you're going to see the energy we saw that night against Kansas City. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think anytime you have a week off, you reset. You get back to basics on the practice field. You take the pads off, and everyone is able to work that week without knowing about a game. It gives you a chance to improve. And so these 2 weeks are about improving. Yeah, the game plan and stuff this week, but it's been about self-improvement, reflection, resetting the order in terms of who needs to get the ball and what. We will see a better effort because it should be a focused effort, not only from the team, but from the coaches on. These are the things that we do well. We need to continue to do these, and these are the players that allow us to do those things well. They need to get as many touches as they can because they positively impact the team.
What are we going to see from the Raiders? You know the league very well, a lot better than I do. On paper, they look like they're not very good at all. They're 2-5. One of those wins was a home game against the Titans, who really aren't very good. The other win was the first week of the year against New England, who didn't know they were pretty good. Are they as bad as they look on paper, the Raiders?
No, they're not as bad as they look. They're not as bad as their record indicates. What I would tell you is they have been victimized by a bunch of turnovers from their quarterback, Geno Smith, who hasn't played well. I think he's the co-leader in interceptions, 10. So anytime you turn the ball over, you're not going to win games. Ashton Genty has not been able to get on track. Some of that is due to lack of opportunity. A big part of that is due to the lack of performance from the offensive line. And so when you don't have the line performing for the run game, the quarterback is turning it over. Puts a lot of stress on their defense. Their defense is older. They got a playmaker, Max Crosby. They got some other guys. But this is a game that, ignore the record, they're coming off a bye week. Pete Carroll's a great coach. He's going to find a way to get them jacked up and juiced up and to believe that they can get back in the hunt. So the best thing that the Jazz can do is jump on them early and not allow them to think that this could be a chance for them to get back on track against a team that have been pretty good for most of the season.
How's Pete Carroll connected with them, Bucky? I mean, is it obviously the record isn't very good, but sometimes, like to your point, you're better than your record. Is it going to work? I mean, is the full Pete Carroll thing? Because it surprised everybody when they hired him. Has he connected with that team the way he did once upon a time in Seattle?
I would say this. The thing about him is he is a great a guy who understands how to be resilient, how to bounce back and do everything. The one thing that he does is he'll find a way to put this team in a position to win games. And it's been ugly early, but it's the first year of the rebuild. He will find a way to get it done. He'll find a way to kind of get them up and going. My hope, it happens after the Jags play him, not while the Jags are playing.
But you forget this game. Let's say the Jags win and the Raiders are 2-6. You still think there's something there with them? I can tell just just talking to you that you think there's something there with them, that they're not this awful franchise that they look like.
No, I mean they got too many good players, too many good people working in the personnel department to be bad. But I will say, a lot of it starts with the quarterback. If you don't get the quarterback right, it's hard to be right in this league. Yeah. When you look around and we look at all the teams that have the good records, there's a common denominator. They're getting really good quarterback play. Look at our division. Look at Daniel Jones and what he's been able to do in Indianapolis. If the quarterback is playing well, the team tends to play well. And so that's the thing. Everything has to be directed about getting the quarterback to play well. Don't turn it over and then get the defense to play at a high level.
Well, it's a great point about quarterback. So a good segue. I'll close with this. What do you want to see from Trevor Lawrence? Trevor's gotten beat up a little bit. I'm a Trevor guy. I think Trevor's going to be fine, including this year. What do you want to see from Trevor this week against the Raiders?
No, man, I just want to see him have a clean game. He's been really good with the mental part of it for the most part. Managing the game, he's been fine. But now it's about making big boy throws. The difference in this league between good and great is the quarterback's ability to deliver when everyone in the stadium knows he has to deliver. Trevor has to show that he can consistently deliver those A-level throws, A-level performances when the stakes are high. If he does that, then we have a lot to celebrate at the end of this year.
Jaguars and Raiders coming up on Sunday. Bucky will be there on the sideline on our Jaguar Network broadcast. Bucky, I'll see you in Vegas. Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you.
Bucky Brooks talking NFL football with us. We're going to take a break. We've got a Top 25 Rewind coming up. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
From the first play ball to the final, your home for play-by-play is 1010XL.
San Jose Collision is hiring for an automotive detailer and porter. If you're detail-oriented, dependable, and love working with cars, apply in person at San Jose Collision in Mandarin. Valid driver's license required.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise, free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at atlanticinfinity.com. This is Hayes Carline for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Tired of roofers who never answer the phone and just use AI?
I'm Morgan Conley, the People's Roofer. I answer every call. No robots, no runaround. I'm born here, built here, staying here. Visit MorganConleyRoofing.org.
Taste it all for less with our Sonny's Originals, packed with your choice of proteins, 2 sides, and bread, starting at $16.99. That's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through October 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Jacksonville homes are selling, but it can take months, and it takes a price lower than you want. Well, getting top price means aggressive marketing, and Chad and Sandy Newman are the Jacksonville experts who have proven systems to drive the demand to sell your home. And they have this unbelievable promise and guarantee. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. If you need to sell now, Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, and stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy are going to aggressively market your home, and they're going to get it. Anthony and Mary in Palm Coast said, we wanted to move back home closer to family. Getting max price was more important than a fast sell, but we had only purchased our home last year, so we didn't have much equity. After just 23 days of aggressive marketing with Chad and Sandy, they sold our house at the price we needed to make the move. Call the Jacksonville experts you can trust, and I recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Cool down? It's been a good show.
Where we've been in the show today, I'll tell you where we've been. We've talked some Jags and Raiders. Bucky Brooks joined us a moment ago to talk Jags and Raiders, and I'm certainly glad he did that. I'm excited about the game. I really am. We talked about the Florida coaching situation. Is Lane Kiffin the odds-on choice? I think he is. We'll see whether or not he takes the job. We certainly talked about that. Brian Kelly's been fired. We talked about that as well. Crazy year in the carousel. And at some point, we will talk about the Florida-Georgia game because it is this week. And that's where we've been over the course of the program today.
Time now for the College Football Top 25 Rewind. Brought to you by the law firm of Woolsey Morecambe. Take the fear out of the fight. Here's Hayes Carline.
All right, it was a very eventful college football weekend. Dylan, Denmark, let's get started in Baton Rouge.
Concepcion backed up all the way to the 23 and breaks free. Look out. KC Concepcion still running. They're not going to catch it. KC Concepcion. Touchdown A&M, 79 yards.
The third-ranked Texas A&M Aggies destroy 20th-ranked LSU, sending Brian Kelly to the unemployment line. The Aggies outscored the Tigers 35-7 in the second half. Quarterback Marcel Reed accounted for 4 touchdowns. Texas A&M remained at number 3, getting one number 1 vote in the poll. LSU fell out of the poll.
If I'd have told you before the season the Coach of the Year vote in the SEC will come down to Mike Elko or Clark Lee, you'd have told me I lost my mind, but it's going to. Actually, A&M is really good, and they laid it to the Tigers for sure.
Absolutely. Dylan, take us to Norman, Oklahoma.
Up in the pistol now. We haven't seen much of that today. Play fake to Lacey. Chambliss throws wide open. Touchdown. Trace Bruckler.
Lane Kiffin and the 8th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels go into the home of the nation's top defense and shred the Sooners 34-26. Ole Miss gained 431 yards. The Rebels moved up 1 spot to 7th, while Oklahoma fell 5 spots to number 18.
I'll tell you why you want Lane Kiffin as your coach. Trinidad Chambliss. What in the again? We haven't talked enough about him. This guy from Ferris State, for crying out loud, that's 5'11" that no one's heard of. Everyone's talking about Diego Pavia. We haven't talked enough about what a year this Chambliss got. By the way, I know Austin Simmons finally came back and didn't go very well the few plays he was in the other day. Chambliss has beat him out. Now, this is a Wally Pipp situation. No disrespect to Simmons. This guy Chambliss is fantastic.
He's been unbelievable.
Really
has been unbelievable.
I mean, it's hard playing quarterback in the SEC. He makes it look like it's easy.
And I will say, credit to Lane Kiffin to score 34 points and get 431 yards on the nation's top scoring defense and total defense. He also left points out there.
No question.
I mean, bringing Simmons in when they were inside the 5, cold, and that didn't work out.
And then
he went for it on 4th down and from his own 26.
Yeah,
and didn't get it. I mean, none of this stops me from hiring.
By the way, I'm
just pointing it out.
I'm convinced on the going for it in his own 26 that was going to be a pooch punt. I think Lacey was going to punt it. Sometimes they'll snap it.
It was bad snap.
Sometimes they'll snap it to the quarterback or running back, and then you'll punt it and they'll have nobody back. I'm convinced that's what that was going to be.
Yeah.
Totally convinced.
Could be. But it was an unbelievable offensive effort for the Rebels, and what Kiffin has done there is simply amazing. Speaking of the amazing Clark Lee, as you mentioned, we are on to Nashville.
Pavia keeps it. Pavia leaps. He scores. Touchdown Vanderbilt.
10th-ranked Vanderbilt continued its storybook season, edging 15th-ranked Missouri 17-10. The Commodores are 7-1 for the first time since 1941. Vandy quarterback Diego Pavia ran in for the game winner with 1:53 to play. Vandy moved up 1 spot to 9th. The Tigers dropped 4 spots to number 19.
Well, think about what a year it is for Pavia. He may be in the playoffs. He's going to get Heisman votes, and he's already started collecting Social Security. He got all that going for him.
It's a good year.
Yeah, he's a good player, by the way.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Great win for Vandy. And Dylan, we will close things out in the football hotbed. That is Memphis.
To tie the game and send us to OT. Snap down, kick away. It is no good! Memphis with the stunner!
The unranked Tigers stun number 18 USF 34-31 in a game that might have settled the 12th seed in the college football playoff. Memphis outscored the Bulls 17-0 in the fourth quarter. The Bulls dropped out of the poll.
Yeah.
Memphis made its debut at 25.
I hated that I know people that went to Memphis. I'm happy for them, but I hated it for USF. And the Grammatica, it was the Grammatica that missed the kick, wasn't it? I hated to see USF's having a special year, and I was rooting for them in the ball game. But that's two good coaches now. I would imagine with the carousel going as hot and heavy as it is, this will be the last season at Memphis for Ryan Silverfield and at USF for Alex Golich. I've got to believe both those guys move on, wouldn't you think?
I would think. Yeah, and that's going to do it. It's no stunning upsets this week, so you know what that means. This Saturday,
oh boy,
it's going to get crazy.
Going to get crazy. Well done as always. We'll be back to wrap the program right after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
NFL Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes a betting favorite to win the MVP award. Mahomes at plus 155, while last year's winner, Buffalo Bills QB Josh Allen, is at plus 400 to win the honor. New England quarterback Drake May in his second season at the helm of the Patriots, plus 450. It's got New England at 6-2. Daniel Jones of the Indianapolis Colts, plus 1,100. Colts are 7-1. Matt Stafford of the Rams, plus 1,200. Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 1,300. Jonathan Taylor, running back of the Colts, who leads the NFL in rushing, plus 1,800 to win the MVP award.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN in Action update on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, it's game time. And just like the Jaguars fight for every yard on the field, Duck Duck Rooter fights for every customer at home. From plumbing repairs to septic pump outs to keeping your AC cool all season long, we've got the winning playbook. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and delivers championship service every time. When plumbing, septic, or AC problems put you on defense, don't fumble the call. Dial 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out. You need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's Terminix.com. That's right, Terminix it.
Congrats to former Georgia defensive lineman Freddie Gilbert and running back Sony Michel's induction into the Georgia-Florida Hall of Fame, Friday, October 31st, presented by Miller Electric. To attend the luncheon ceremony, go to flgajax.com/Hall of Fame.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. You know that other Frangie? Well, he's my dad. But I'm here to tell you about how much I appreciate the Awaken 180 weight loss program and how it's changed my life. Like a lot of folks, I let myself go a little. Not proud of that, but it happens. And I wasn't sure what to do. I've tried a lot of other weight loss programs, but they just didn't work. Not like Awaken 180. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. And best of all, really fast results. You eat the food that's provided, and it's really good food. You work with a coach on a regular basis who guides you through the whole process. I'm never hungry. In fact, I never feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Just living a totally normal life. That's my new normal. And now, in October, they're offering free consultations. So there's no reason not to call them and learn more. Call them at 844-346-1800. Or you can visit awaken180.com. It really has changed my life. And I bet it'll change yours too. That's Awaken 180.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Billy Gonzalez spoke today. What did he say? Anything? You see it? Hear it?
I did listen to it because I respect Billy Gonzalez. And I do think that he deserves the fans' full support. I mean, Billy Gonzalez is a good Gator. He's going to do the best job he can do. I'm not expecting great things, but Billy Gonzalez told a great story today in terms of getting into coaching and his first coaching job. And he said, one of the things I had to do at my first coaching job, it was like a D3 level school. He was like, I had to go to the hardware store. I had this beat up car, and I had to go to the hardware store every weekend because I was in charge of lining the field. And I had to get a book to read how you line a field. And he said, it's amazing now because I can look out my window. And he didn't take over any of Napier's stuff.
Right.
So he's, from his receivers coach window, he can see how Florida does it now. And it's a robot. So he's like, now I look out my window and it's kind of cool because I can just watch the robot do it. But, when I was a kid getting into coaching, I was actually going out and lining the field. He said he'd line the field for practice and he'd paint the field for the game. So, you always appreciate people with humble origins that, have really made a big name for themselves in any industry. But Billy Gonzalez has done it in coaching. And he was very adamant about this is all about the players. This is about what's best for the players, what's best for the players. That's the only thing on our minds. What's best for the players. So I think he'll have the team as ready as they can be. I just think when you've been running a pathetic offensive system for 4 years, I don't think you can just snap your fingers and fire the guy, and all of a sudden you're able to go out there and consistently move the ball and score against the Georgia Bulldogs in Jacksonville.
I agree. It'd be very hard. Let me ask this. If he does really well and they win most of their games, could he get the Colorado State job? I mean, the job's open.
Yeah.
It's his alma mater.
Yeah.
He's never been a head coaching candidate. But all of it. Let's say they win 4 or 5. Or how many games they got left? What they 5 games left.
Yeah.
Let's say they win. Let's say that'd be a lot of. Let's say they go 3-2 and they look good in those games. Can he get in play? You think for a job like that?
I would think because
it's Colorado. When he is an alumnus,
right?
And
certainly he'll gain a lot of notoriety over the last 5 weeks. All Florida's games are all
on
at
TV.
night. I mean, they said today the Florida at Kentucky game is a 7:30 start on a Saturday night.
How about that?
I mean, if there's any game that should be played at 11 a.m. or the noon window, but Florida doesn't get noon games. And we found that out in July. They came out with this and said, we can't tell you the exact times, but we have the early window, the mid window, and the late window. And in every window, Florida was mid to late. And I mean, he's going to obviously get great notoriety. And yeah, if he does a good job, I think he'd be a good candidate for Colorado State.
I'd like to, and you know, I told you 2 months ago when after the USF game when it looked like Billy wasn't going to make it, I thought he should be the interim. And we talked about
it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, he's been there. He's been there 3 times. He knows everything about it. He's so
he's and he's he's the receivers coach. So like delegating that responsibility isn't overly difficult.
Right. So it'll be so we'll see. Yeah, they're not going to God bless him. It's Georgia. Of all the teams you could play that first game, it's Georgia. Ryan O'Halloran did
who also had a bye week.
Yeah, right. Ryan O'Halloran did a terrific job talking about how interim coaches had coached before.
Yeah.
But they didn't play this group. Okay.
Right.
They didn't play this Galen Hall played Georgia. It wasn't this Georgia.
Right.
It wasn't this group. So
it's going to be a tough day Saturday.
Yeah. So and that's the problem. Oh, by the way, you got at Ole Miss. You do have Kentucky. You got at Ole Miss. You got Tennessee
I think
at home.
Ole Miss is going to choke. I actually think they're going to lose Saturday to South Carolina and
Do you
Oxford.
really?
Yeah, I think that's coming. So I do think Ole Miss is going to get upset.
Yeah.
So if it's not Saturday, then maybe it is Florida.
Wow.
But certainly to your point, not an enviable road.
Yeah.
For Billy Gonzalez.
Yeah. So
because then you got Tennessee and
and again, if I'll say Billy Napier deserved to get fired. I will. We've talked about it enough. I'm not going to belabor it. I still can't believe that when all these head coaches are turning over play calling, the one who's really bad at all these ones who were good at it, the one who was really bad at it wouldn't do it. And when we all knew it was going to cost him his job, in retrospect, we all knew it was costing him his job, and he still wouldn't give it up. When we all knew the result,
apparently it's really like annoying being friends with Billy Napier because now that he's fired, he'll just call his friends and they'll pick up the phone and he'll just start like reading a play call. It's like Billy, what are you doing?
38 blast.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
yeah. But it's one of the most stunning self-destructions that you'll ever see in college football.
By the way, speaking of fired coaches, Brian Kelly, did you see that they've started now negotiating the payout? Have you seen this?
Yeah, they've gotten it reduced is what it looks like.
Well, did you see what it's going to be though?
It's going from 50 to 20.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I saw how the payment structure is going to work. $740,000 a month for 7 years. Think about that.
Pretty good.
Just think about that in the real world for a second.
Yeah, pretty good.
$740,000 a month for 7 years. So let's assume after taxes, when people make that kind of money, they take the taxes out. I don't know how that works. Do you get paid twice a month and the taxes come out like normal people?
Yeah.
But let's assume they do. So let's say he clears $500,000.
Right.
Okay. You're going to clear $500,000. That's your check every month for 7 years.
It's amazing.
Bobby Bonilla would be jealous of this deal. I mean, think about it. isn't that amazing?
It is incredible. It makes me laugh about Ogeron.
Hey, Brian, can I schedule that trip to the Bahamas? Oh, wait, honey, let's wait till next month's check. Okay,
let's gotta tighten the belt a little bit.
Let's wait for next month's $500,000 check. Okay,
it's amazing. It reminds me of Ogeron when LSU fired him, and obviously he got a lot of money to leave. And he said, I'll be okay. I'm going to be able to. I'm not going to try and do an impression because he's just so good. But I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be able to still go get a hamburger, and every so often I'll be able to get cheese on it.
Is that what he said? I mean, goodness. I mean, just think about the life these guys live.
It's incredible.
$740,000 a month,
and that's where you wonder, will there ever be a pivot in the market? It doesn't appear to be coming because Florida, LSU, Penn State, I'm sure they're looking at it as we've got to be willing to pay our candidate $15 million. But if you are, and again, I'll go back to if you're in the second tier of this coaching market, if you're Arkansas, if you're Auburn, if we'll see about Florida State. Does anybody try to get a deal done where it's like a 4-year deal, $6 million or, like roughly total, where maybe you're going and getting a guy that no one's really heard of, but you're saying we're committed to NIL, we're committed to paying our players, and we're not going to pay our head coach 7, 10, 12. We're not doing that. We're going to pay our head coach $1.5 million a year, but we're going to funnel that extra money to NIL. I mean, it would take a really strong athletic director to try to get away with it.
Right.
But it makes you wonder at some point, will a school try it? Because the money is just absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, just absurd.
I don't think in our lifetime we're going to see it.
I mean, it's
they may cut
hard
back.
to argue.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see it.
You're definitely not going to see it in this cycle with the top programs.
Yeah, again.
But I'll be curious to see if we ever get to a point where it's like, look, we can't guarantee these coaches $120 million and then owe them $80 if we fire them after 4 years.
Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Rick, Brian Kelly is going to get $740,000 a month for 7 years.
It's insane.
For 7 years, Rick.
For being slightly above average coach.
Right. I mean, for not doing his job well enough to keep his job.
It's got to change. And, even in the NFL, when you look at the deals that these players get, you see the signing bonus, you see the years, you see the money, then you dive in deeper and you see how much of that money is actually guaranteed. Coaches right now in college football are making way, way too much money. Look at the World Series. I think both skippers tonight are making around $2 million a year.
Yeah, that's right.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to give the coaches the money. It's the buyouts that really ruins it. And hopefully in the future they'll be able to change that. But if Jimmy Sexton's still alive, that's not going to happen.
And that's just it. Jimmy Sexton's having a field day now because he's got everybody. He's got both ends.
He's
of it.
perfect. I mean, the way he works the Sarkeesian deal. I mean, he just works everything, and he's going to make so much money.
If you're Netflix, don't you have to follow Jimmy Sexton around for these next 8 weeks?
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about
there's your whole. That's every episode.
What a documentary that would be.
You can find him at his office, and you can find him, at the table.
Yeah.
That's where he is. So it wouldn't cost a lot of money. He only goes two places.
Yeah, that's right. So, what's coming up tonight?
We got a lot tonight. I mean, this college football situation is just going absolutely berserk. So the latest on that, and get ready for the Jaguars and their trip to Las Vegas. So really fired up to talk with the listeners. Coming up in just a few. We're going to be busy.
All right. Rick Ballou, he goes into the night. There you go. We'll be listening to Rick Ballou. Also be watching a terrific World Series game tonight. Scherzer and Glass now. I'm looking forward to it.
And we got Mahomes tonight.
Okay, and by the way, there's some NFL football.
Yeah.
There's also that because the Chiefs, I think, play every Monday night. It's pretty much they do. That'll do it for our program. Dylan, great work. Thanks for filling in. We'll see JJ back here tomorrow. For Dylan, for Hayes, the absent JJ LaSelva, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.
The Frangie Show.